He's a director. He's a writer. He's a producer. He's the guy who is a writer on Golden Girls. Is that what it is, Kim? Golden Girls. And I'm looking at the book. He's written
Golden
a book.
Girls, Gilmore Girls.
The Girls from Golden to Gilmore is his new book, and that was messing with my head. But here he is with a new project to Stan Zimmerman. I really botched her intro, and I'm really sorry about that.
Jesus, let's start all over again. How can I write a sitcom for you if we're going to have to do take after take after
right. Writer on Roseanne. I mean, you've worked in some pretty cool writers' rooms. I'm sure that with some scary moments.
I've got stories, yes, and they're all in the book. All in the book.
I love it. Gilmore Girls and Golden Girls, very different series, but you stayed close to both. And I was talking to Kim before the show started, and I guess Gilmore Girls is like a big part of their life. They continue to watch that series over and over again.
Both those shows I've seen go through peaks and valleys, and Gilmore Girls is having this crazy resurgence. We've actually had these Gilmore fan festivals called the Fan Fest Society in Connecticut and Maine and Toronto every fall. And where thousands of Gilmore fans, men, women, mothers and daughters come together, and we just talk and become friends and discuss every minor detail of Gilmore Girls.
Well, I love that. And I love that you have a project for the Christmas season.
Yes.
It's called Ladies of the 80s, A Divas Christmas. And it premieres December 2nd at 8 o'clock on Lifetime. I mean, to have a Lifetime movie.
Christmas movie.
Yeah.
With these ladies.
Of all the stuff you've done, Stan Zimmerman, this has to be in the crown jewels.
Well, when they came to us, we were actually in Dallas, Texas, world premiering our play Silver Foxes, which was kind of a gay men's Golden Girls. And our old assistant, who's casting at Lifetime, said, "Can I throw your hat in the ring for this assignment? It's 5 divas. You have to shoot it in 13 days, one location. This is mid-March. It has to be finished writing by May 1st because of the writer's strike." And we said, give us 24 hours. We came back. We pitched a bunch of ideas. They liked a lot of them, but picked this one. And we wrote frantically. And luckily, they got to shoot it before the actors went on strike. And here we are.
Oh, wow. That's right. You did have to get a good bounce on that. And so Ladies of the 80s, A Divas Christmas, absolutely love the title. And it connotes all of these things. What is it?
Well, I wanted to play off of most of the ladies had actually all started on daytime soap operas. And I was a big ABC, All My Children, One Life to Live, General Hospital fan. And I noticed that all those shows are now being canceled. So we thought, what if they all started on one daytime soap opera called The Great Lakes? It's been canceled, but the writer-producer gets one last episode live Christmas Day because they're known for their Christmas episodes. So they get to bring all the ladies back to film a live episode, and it becomes, Real Housewives meets all those crazy shows. And those soap operas, they have some wild storylines in there, and we play off of all of them. We have a whole montage at the beginning where we film them looking back like they did in the 80s, and all of them slapping each other. It's a slapping montage, ending with Nicolette Sheridan in the pool because somebody has to fall in the pool. Yeah.
Oh, that's terrific! It's really great. A friend of mine does hair and makeup on that the Jane Fonda series. I think it's done now. Jane Fonda and Lily Tomlin.
Yeah.
And I said, "Oh my gosh! I mean, they're older women, maybe they're really specific about what they want. I mean, is it difficult?" And I was told just the opposite. They're total pros. They get in. They don't give you any hard time at all. They know you've got a job to do. They've got a job to do. They're the best to work with. So I ask you about the ladies of the 80s, the divas, that you play them as divas. What is the mood when you're dealing with all these people who are legit personalities in their own right?
Actually, when we came up with it, we thought we should probably not have them all in a lot of scenes together just because it will take time with hair and makeup. But the producer, Larry Thompson, said, no, people want to see them together in as many scenes as possible. And they're actually our friends, even though they've all not really worked all together before. And as they described it, we were not allowed on the set, unfortunately, because of the Writers Guild strike. So I just had to hear about things on the side. But supposedly they all really got along and it was like camp for them. And they were just coming back together and like, oh, how's your, 12th husband and what happened to that DUI? Oh, no, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
But they all got a lot of stories and a lot of wonderful years, but I think they all had a lot of fun doing it. So we're hoping if people watch, we can make it into a sequel or possibly a TV series.
Oh, wouldn't that be fun? Well,
Yeah.
again, we'll have we'll have it here in our description, and we'll mention it again at the end of the show. But right there on the second day of December.
Yes,
at
but
8
then
o'clock.
after that Saturday, you can get it anytime you want. You can download it and stream it. So
Yeah,
many platforms.
it'll repeat December 17th in the morning,
Right.
and then as you say, it's downloadable.
Oh, yeah.
So, what's it like being a writer in Hollywood where you're pitching ideas and you're producing ideas? And I mean,
horrible. Horrible. I mean, I obviously love writing for all these wonderful actors and especially wonderful women, but we don't get any credit. I mean, I know there's more important things in the world happening today, but it's just interesting that a lot of people think that these ladies make up all these lines. There's a whole meme happening on TikTok about Golden Girls, about this famous scene the year that we wrote on the show, season 1. And they think Betty White made ad-lib the entire thing. And I start writing, no, we wrote these words and they don't, who are you? You don't know. We're like, he's a writer. And then some people send in the scripts, literally pictures of the script, and people still don't believe it.
It's funny that you say this because I had this thought the other day because it comes up a lot in those little junket interviews that Entertainment Tonight does or whatever when they're talking to the stars and they've seen the movie, or even with famous films when I've looked at, Scorsese retrospectives. Every time he has a new film out, they do a retrospective. And the constant question is, so did they allow ad-libbing? A lot of that stuff seems like it's ad-libbing. And the actor said, not really. No. I mean, to David Mamet, even that, like these people who you just know bolt down every comma and period. You know what I mean? Yet the magic of that is, in the case of Golden Girls, Betty White's performance, right? She speaks your words as though they have just come to her.
I say they are such 4 great actors, as are these 5 ladies. They make it seem like they just made it up because they're pros. You don't get to be a diva just overnight. You have to earn it, and they've all earned it. But it depends on who the writer and the director is. Someone like Amy Sherman Palladino from Gilmore Girls or Aaron Sorkin. You say every single word. You pause at every comma. Period. Stop. And then there's shows like The Office where it's a little more loose, and you can kind of come up with things on the fly. When I'm directing, I always say, just say my words once. Let me get it on film. And then we'll do other takes where you can play with it. But we spend a lot of time, my writing partner and I, fighting over every comma. And when I teach acting, I say we think of it like music. So the commas mean that's a pause, and then you go on. If there's a period, a longer pause.
Yeah, that makes total sense. And actually that strategy of let's do it once the way it's written, and then let's find our way, maybe if we want it, and if you've written for the characters well, then it will sound like their words.
And the wonderful thing about doing a series is that you get to know the actors and you start asking them questions around the craft services table, and suddenly their stories become part of the show, and the dialogue changes. Maybe they're better with shorter sentences, or they sound funnier with certain words. Like Betty White, like Rue McClanahan, always sound funny with that Southern accent of Blanche, with an ER at the end of words we were hearing. So we started just adding words like butter and supper, and so we like that look of the ER.
Sure, of course, that's very funny. That it's the way it sounds. Tell me about AI and how it's going to affect your world, Stan Zimmerman.
Whew. I think we're just at the beginning of it, so we don't really know. I'm actually directing a new play at the Road Theater Company in April called High Maintenance, and it's about I did not write it, but I'm helping him rewrite it. It's about a high maintenance actress. Some divas I might know. You see a theme running through my life here.
Yeah.
And she gets hired to do The Doll's House by Ibsen, a play with a robot. And I love that we talk about, is this the future, that actors are going to be, acting opposite robots, or we have a robot understudy, and what does that mean? There's no way to replicate what a real person feels. Or as a writer, you can write kind of in their language, but you don't get to the heart of it. When I'm watching even something like, I saw the first cut of Ladies of the 80s, and I started to tear up at the end, partly because there was a line that deals with the lead boy's mother passing, and my mother had passed, so it still touches me. So something like that, a robot can't write that. I mean, that comes from right here. Or little things like, I use my niece Nell. I use her name. The young female lead in the movie is Nell. So it's kind of fun to put relatives in,
Sure.
and that's something a robot can do.
That's fascinating. It really is. You're right. I mean, that's the secret sauce that robots can't quite approach. I don't know if you can't see this, Stam, but there is back here.
What is that?
This is.
Oh, our friend Allie. That's how we met.
That's how we met.
Allie Willis on a New Year's Eve dinner on Highland Avenue. And you know what? I can't look at her picture. To me, I see she pops up a lot on my Instagram and Facebook on memories, and it's hard because she still feels so alive to me. And especially now with the Color Purple being made into a new movie and it's premiering on Christmas Day. I want to go. You should come with me. Let's go celebrate Allie on Christmas Day.
I would love it. At Christmas Day, I don't think we're going to be in town, but I would, if you can wait 2 days, I'll be back. But yeah, she, as you know, people on this show regularly know that I've talked about her a lot, Allie Willis. And so it is great to see that her work continues. And of course, her music permeates our lives. And it's just, but she sits back there with me always on every show.
I'm actually working on a live theater musical using her catalog.
Oh, that's great.
But songs that have not been released. And so during COVID, they gave me all of her recordings while she's writing the song. So I'm hearing her voice again.
Oh, wow.
It was very eerie. It was like going through her diary. And I later learned she wanted somebody to do that. She wants somebody to go in and make art from her art. So I'm hoping that happens.
That seems so consistent with who she was, because she chronicled so much of it. And, you know, when it comes to recording and in some way making these forever moments from what she had and what she created and what she collected, it's totally consistent that she wants some new creation from it. Kim wants me to ask you about the writer's strike. Mark, please ask him what he thinks of the writer's strike and how it ended up.
Well, I was out of town for most of it, but I did get to pick it a bunch. We had a big Roseanne reunion.
Oh yes, I think, and that's quite a collection of writers, isn't it?
Oh
Stan?
Yes, it is. And I wore my number 13 shirt, which I don't know if people know that story, but it's in the book. Tom and Roseanne gave us numbered shirts, so when they fired us, they wouldn't have to know our name. They could just go 13, you're fired. I've only worn it once before. I wore it that day. Who should come up to me but Tom Arnold gave me a big hug, spilling coffee all over the shirt.
Oh,
I'm like,
my
this is perfect.
God.
Perfect. If anybody had to do it, it had to be Tom Arnold. But it was fun and crazy to hear war stories from writers from other seasons, or to talk to Michael Fishman, who was a little kid when I was there, and his perspective.
Oh, right.
It was really tough on a lot of people. I had been focusing, as you know, more on theater, so my life wasn't as affected, you know, as if I was still staffing on regular sitcoms. But it's important to me. I mean, obviously, you know, still doing this Lifetime movie. I want fairness. I've had strike T-shirts made for many of the strikes. So this was, I think, my third big one. And, you know, we've been marching many times. We're out there. And I think we got a good deal. And I just want more voices and diversity in writers' rooms, and
Sure.
more shows and more opportunities for people. That's how I learned, was being in that writers' room. But back then we did 20, 25 episodes a season. Like the last time I worked at Lifetime, we did a sitcom called Rita Rock starring Nicole Sullivan, Tisha Campbell Martin. We did 40 episodes in 2 seasons.
Wow.
Now, if you did 40 episodes, you'd be like this monster hit. You lasted 40 episodes. And
Yeah.
for us, it was like, oh, you just did 2 seasons. But you learn how to write, because you got to come up with stories and structure every week and new jokes.
Sure. Go ahead, Kim.
I'm so in awe of how your writing has become cemented in pop culture. And I wonder what the feeling is when someone
Sure, Jan.
I wonder what the feeling is when someone like me tells you how much joy your writing has brought them, whether it's from the biting wit of the Golden Girls or that fast talking wit in the Gilmore Girls. Does it give you some type of other sense of success when you know that you've affected people?
I don't think of it as success. It brings me such joy. And usually people come up to me and say, I hate to bother you. And I say, bother me. Actors are recognized all the time, so they have people coming up to them. For writers, we don't know how it affects people. And so that's why I really enjoy going to like the Golden Girls conventions, the Golden Girls cruises, the Gilmore Girl fan festivals, because I get to meet people and hear how it affected their lives. So like Golden Girls, if they watched it with their grandmother, or they were going through some really difficult time, or especially with COVID, people found such solace and a place to come laugh and forget about the world's problems. So to have that effect still on people after all these years is so amazing. I wasn't thinking of that at all at the time, although at the time I really took those moments and to take it in and feel so lucky and blessed that I was in those moments. From Golden Girls. I mean, that's what I write about in the book. I kept a journal during all those shows. And even though some were very difficult experiences to go through, I'm sure you can guess which ones, I was so grateful to be in that space.
Well, I could tell my daughter that we did an interview with Morgan Fairchild, or I could tell her that we did an interview with Stan Zimmerman. He wrote the Gilmore Girls, and she'd be like, tell me more about Stan.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll have to meet, and you guys have to come to the festival in Connecticut in September. So I'll hook you up, because you will meet some of the best people in the world, and they've really become like family to me, like the town of Stars Hollow. And these group of fans will come to my different plays around the country. A whole group came to Dallas.
Oh, cool.
Some Gilmore fans came to the Golden Girls convention. So it's been really special.
That's wild. I love the idea too, Stan, that that you have a hand in something that has such an enduring quality. I mean, the television landscape is littered with shows that were a success on some level, but they don't have the kind of enduring power that these shows that you were part of have. So it's really cool that
to have one, be part of that. Be lucky to have one.
Exactly.
So to have multiple, it's just beyond belief, and I feel really lucky and worked really, really hard, but I enjoy every second of it still.
Do the studios call you now and say, we need Stan Zimmerman, or how does it work? Do the doors just open when you walk in? Or?
I'm old and gay. Nobody cares about me. They're on to the next one. No, I mean, something like, late of the 80s, it was so in our pocket. I think, that was a natural for us. But, the demographics of television. I mean, I have so much more to say and do and write about. Theater is my love right now, because it's so intimate, and to be in a room with people, especially after COVID, and hearing laughter or something really sad, tears. I've been going around the country doing my suicide notes play, performing in it. Which I created after a very close friend of mine died by suicide 11 years ago. And I'll be doing it in Austin, January 20 and 21st.
Well, that seems like important work indeed. So from that to the Christmas holiday, again, it's on
it's Ladies
Lifetime.
Of the 80s. Yeah.
Ladies of the 80s. And Tiffany sings a theme song from it.
Come on.
Come on.
Yeah.
That's 80s.
Yeah.
I don't know how much more 80s you could get.
No, that was a brilliant stroke to hire her. And they wrote a song just for this movie, and she does it, and she's great at it.
record it, watch it, we rewatch it, and then grab Stan's book. Is the book out now?
Pre-sales are now. It comes out officially February 13th, 2024, but it's available on Amazon.com and a lot of other places. And
Stan Zimmerman, The Girls
exciting.
from Golden to Gilmore is the name of the book.
Yep.
And Roseanne. It's in there. And Roseanne. You can see it if you're looking on YouTube.
Yeah, there was a big argument about that. What she would say. So we'll see what she says. Do you have any experiences with her?
I do not. I know Tom Arnold, I know. He has great stories.
Yes, he does.
But, and I actually like Tom Arnold a bunch.
Love him.
Yeah.
I credit him, and in the book I talk about it, he kept that show going.
Yeah.
I have to say. I mean, his energy, and he was the day-to-day person that came into the office and worked on stories with us and got to know us. And, you know, and then we were there that last year when their marriage exploded. She kicked him out. He was like, come over to he had some condo on Wilshire Boulevard, and we were working on projects with him. It was crazy and wonderful.
He'll be a guest on the show at some point. He's just terrific. I had him on my old podcast a couple of times. He's really just great. But I'm so glad to hear that you guys got along well and that you have great memories of him too. And, you know, that you just saw him on the strike lines. Yeah. Stan, good luck on everything. Ladies of the 80s, A Divas Christmas is on Lifetime. Check it out. December 2nd, the premiere, but all through the month of December. And, of course, video on demand. And watch for Stan's book, as we say. And there'll be links to both Stan's book and the Ladies of the 80s, Divas of Christmas. Will have a link to the Lifetime page so you can learn more.
Thank you for always being so supportive. You're a real gem, and
you're a talented guy.
I'm glad Allie connected us. This is
me too. Me too, pal. All right. Happy holidays and all that stuff. Bye, Stan. Hi, it's Mark, and I thought that was great. Hit the notification bell. You'll know whenever there's a new video being dropped, and please subscribe to our channel to help us save the universe.